Hello folks, do bear with me for the beginning of this video. I'll explain exactly what's going on first, and then I'll show you what we have so far in regards to upcoming changes and a little bit of a roadmap. So, a few days ago, on the 17th of September, it was announced by various different news outlets that Wuchang had received a brand new update. However, upon checking Steam, Xbox or PlayStation for said update, players could find nothing. Shortly after the announcements were made, they began to get taken down here and there, but many are still up, and this goes for various different social media posts made on the likes of Reddit being removed too. So I have very much done some digging and collected bits and pieces here and there to help outline exactly what's going down and when we can expect this elusive update to return. So to start us off, I've cherry-picked a few snippets from this article right here, which goes as follows. Developer Lindsay and publisher 505 Games officially launched the first deluxe edition expansion for Wuchang Fallen Feathers. The update is now live on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC via Steam, Epic Games Stores, and Windows Store. It introduces new content, free cosmetics, and a patch with gameplay improvements. The deluxe expansion adds 2 costumes, Forged Iron and Radiant, along with 2 new weapons, the Hooked Blade Spear and Blazing Night Lotus. These items expand combat options and give players more freedom to refine their fighting style. Additionally, Lindsay confirmed that another 2 costumes and 2 weapons will arrive later in 2025. As a result, deluxe owners can expect consistent updates that further boost variety and replay value. Beyond the deluxe content, all Wuchang Fallen Feathers players now gain access to 2 free headgear pieces. These include the Bow Sorcerer's Crown and the Ming Army Helmet. Once players install the latest patch, the cosmetics unlock automatically. Furthermore, the update delivers technical fixes and general improvements, ensuring smoother gameplay across all platforms. Now, as I said before, this update is nowhere to be seen, but conveniently enough, a lot of the hard work for the next patch has already been done for us by Reddit user Jamie241190, where they say the following. Hi everyone, I've seen on a couple of websites that from the 17th of September there was more content added to the deluxe edition of the game, screenshot in image. There are a few websites that have the same content, and the AI overview in Google's search engine also mentions it. Although it's now the 18th and I've not seen images of any of the costumes or weapons, and there are no updates on the PlayStation 5 either. Does anyone have any information? Google isn't giving me much on this. Thanks in advance. And this is of course accompanied by this right here, which just covers what the update involves and when it drops, but of course it still hasn't been released. And then within the comments of this post, we have an additional comment from Jamie which states, so I emailed 505 inquiring about it and they've said it's unofficial at the moment. Again, unsure why multiple websites are reporting this. Sorry if the post got anyone's hopes up. So up till this point, it's pretty fair to say for one reason or another this patch has been pulled and Lindsay, the developers behind Wuchang, have decided to delay it. Perhaps news outlets didn't get the memo in time, or perhaps something went wrong at the very last minute. It doesn't appear to be a leak as the date and time for the update is the same across all outlets, so this all leads me to assume that Lindsay most definitely pulled this very close to it actually going live, but we've no idea why. If we do go and check out Wuchang over on SteamDB, we can see right here that both the deluxe upgrade and deluxe expansion packs were updated just 2 days ago, which further supports that Lindsay pulled this very last minute. What that actually means for us all moving forward though, your guess is as good as mine. 505 Games have said nothing further regarding the matter, and the Wuchang Discord is all quiet in regards to announcements, so I guess it is very much just a case of wait and see, but it has been stated by 505 Games that the update has been delayed indefinitely, so we really do not have any information regarding when it will actually release. Now, our last major update for Wuchang was on the 22nd of August, and since then, outside of this Phantom update, we haven't heard a peep from the devs or 505 since. We knew that the free weapons and armor were on the way, albeit we're receiving 2 of each with this update, and then apparently the other 2 of each in a future update due sometime later this year. But as for what else this update may cover, again, we just don't know right now. I did stumble across this video right here, which seems to have been made sometime before some articles were pulled, and within this video we can see various different changes. However, I'm fairly certain this is ChatGPT formatting that we're looking at, and I'd just say based on that, we should take all of the following info with a pinch of salt. ChatGPT may well have generated all of this when there was more info available online that has since been removed, as I tried recreating something similar, but to no avail. So I'm basically just saying I don't know how true any of the following actually is, but for the most part, it does appear to be pretty solid and accurate. Anyway, to comb on through very quickly, Forged Iron costume has a heavy and rugged look, reminiscent of Ming Dynasty battle commanders, and should also include its own unique idle animation and slightly different dodge animation to make the set feel heavy. As for the Radiant costume, we have robes embroidered with gold and jade green, inspired by Imperial ceremonial garments, with its own subtle particle effect of a faint shimmering glow when stood in sun or torchlight. It also notes that earlier cosmetics included Shadow Plum and Lotus Mist, which is simply just not true, highlighting the take all of this with a pinch of salt advice I mentioned a little bit earlier on. As for the weapons, we have the Hook Blade Spear, which is a polearm with a serrated look near the tip. Combos emphasize sweeping crowd control strikes, and it features a new hook and pull mechanic, where certain enemies can be dragged in closer mid-combat. And then we have Blazing Night Lotus, which is a curved blade infused with fire talismans. Both light and heavy attacks build up a burn meter that ignites enemies over time, and the exclusive heavy finisher creates an entire flame burst around the wielder. For the skill upgrade items, we have a unique talisman named Feather of Insight, which grants an additional unlock in the late game skill tree, but can only be used once per playthrough. The following content is what was announced for everyone, and we have the Bow Sorcerer's Crown, a tall ornate headpiece with a slight passive buff to focus recovery, and then we have the Ming Army Helmet, a heavily plated helmet grounded in historical armor design with no mechanical buffs. For combat adjustments, we have adjusted stamina usage of twin sabers, encouraging longer combo strings. Halberds receive smoother transition frames between light and heavy swings, and the boss stagger values have been rebalanced. Larger bosses now require fewer perfect parries to open vulnerability. For the enemies, we have tweaked AI pathing in tight spaces to reduce clipping issues, and enemy groups spawn more naturally in open world zones to improve pacing. For the exploration and lore changes, we have new environmental storytelling tablets tied to the Hookblade Spear and Blazing Night Lotus origins, as well as hidden alcoves added near mid-game regions, encouraging re-exploration with new abilities. For the technical enhancements, for visuals, we have upgraded texture streaming for smoother environmental loading, and then improved reflections in water-heavy zones, and HDR color banding issues fixed for the PlayStation 5. For the UI and menus, we have inventory sorting now prioritizes newly obtained deluxe gear, and a new toggle for costume previews at campfires, whatever that's supposed to mean. And then for performance, we have a memory leak fix that did cause endgame crashing, as well as better frame pacing when uncapped beyond 120 frames per second on PC. And then finally, folks, we have this little section here outlining the roadmap, and it basically states later this year we will receive a similar update containing 2 more sets of armor and weapons, as well as side quests exploring more about the Phoenix cult, and then apparently changes impacting New Game Plus are in the works too, which should add things like special enemy variants and altered boss patterns. Now, the vast majority of everything covered just then does for the most part make sense. Apart from the odd thing here and there, like the Phoenix cult, it does seem potentially quite accurate. Especially given that our good friend Stray Curtis, who has been data mining Wuchang for quite some time now, has stumbled across what looks to be a chain-like weapon within the game's files. And this very much reinforces the chain weapon coming later this year. Now, whilst on the topic of data mining, we won't get too carried away with this particular video, but feel free to check out this one below, where I have dived into mostly everything Stray Curtis has discovered so far, mostly regarding co-op and PvP, but he's also working on plenty more as we speak, and I'm sure I'll be covering it within the coming days and weeks. So do stay tuned. Outside of all of this, the very second we have further news regarding this Phantom update, I will be dropping a full video covering everything we need to know, but as it does currently stand, consider yourselves very much brought up to speed. Anyway, that would be it for this one, folks. I'll be back over the coming days with more Kazan, Wuchang, Silksong, and various other games, so do very much stay tuned. And I do, of course, have a range of guides and news videos on the channel already, so do feel free to stop on by and check things out. Otherwise, thanks for watching, folks, and until next time, peace.